So what do you mean by being complicit, and why does that matter?
Well, just for listeners who are baffled at this point, I guess I'll just say that some of the chapters at the center of the book are about Me Too and the federal judiciary, and that is some of that is Brett Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford, and some of it is the former chief judge of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is one of the most powerful courts in the country, Judge Alex Kaczynski. And the problem that I was trying to raise is that he had shown porn to his clerks. He had talked in really explicit sexual ways to his clerks. He had touched women inappropriately who clerked for other judges. And this went on for years and years and years and years. And what I said in the book is that I knew about this from my own clerkship on the Ninth Circuit. And I kept that secret for decades. And I would sit next to him on panels and go to fancy dinners. He was a feeder judge. He was one of the federal appellate judges who absolutely could vault his own law clerks onto the Supreme Court, right? And Brett Kavanaugh was a former clerk of his. And so I think that in 2017, when a few incredibly brave women, Heidi Bond and Emily Murphy, eventually a bunch of other women came forward and said, I am going to say this about him. He should not have lifetime tenure on the Ninth Circuit and should not be deciding cases that have to do with sexual assault and abuse. And when I decided to write what I knew at the time, and I did, and it was excruciating. But one of the things that I wrote, both in the piece that I wrote at the time and also in the book, is that I had not fully thought about the fact that my keeping this a secret, or just whispering to young women who were at law school, don't take that clerkship, don't take that clerkship, it's not worth it, was a piece of complicity. It was a choice to let him remain in power because he was powerful and because he could do things for us. And that I didn't realize that, and I say this with great chagrin, what happened to Heidi Bond and Emily Murphy and Leah Lippman and many of the other women in the book might not have happened if I had stepped forward and written what I knew at the time. And maybe the final turn, and you can tell me what you think about this, is that what's most maddening about some of these Me Too experiences is that we then laud, right? We're like, oh, Christine Blasey Ford is a hero, or, you know, Leah Lippman and Emily Murphy and Heidi Bond are heroes, but we don't make them whole. And the judge goes on to have lifetime tenure. And I think in a deep way, we are doing some of this Me Too stuff. In Judge Kaczynski's case, he did step down, but we do it in lieu of actual investigation and due process. And so it's a failure on all sides. It's a failure to do any kind of meaningful scrutiny of what the claims were against both Judge Kaczynski and Brett Kavanaugh, but lifting up these women as heroes and saying, oh, I believe you, without doing anything to repair the systems is really cold comfort.